let's take a look at how we can use the dissolve tool. Here we're looking at 2018 land use in Chula Vista. Let's go ahead and add in all the categories. Okay, so we can see there are 73 different types of land use in Chula Vista. And this is not the best color palette, we're just sort of exploring everything that's there. We could expand it here, but you'll see we still won't be able to see all 73 at once. Also, many of these categories are pretty similar. So we have a lot of we have a lot of recreation, different types of recreation, different types of schools, colleges, high schools. We have several different types of residential options, single family, multiple families, multi-residence, multi-family residential, mobile home parks. So a lot of different residential options, plus all sorts of industrial and public uses as well. This can be quite complicated to display, and for, maybe our purposes, we just want to look at the general shifts between land use, in this example, in Chula Vista between 1986 and 2018. We want to see the big shifts. So we just maybe need to break it down into fewer categories. Now, the first thing we could do is simplify all these parcels. How many parcels are there? There are 6,000 parcels, so we can go ahead and simplify it down into, can solve it just based on our land use categories. So instead of having 6,000 parcels, we would just have the 73 or 72 for all of our different dissolve types. That would make geoprocessing, any further analysis you'd be doing a lot faster. So let's go ahead and go to our analysis tab. We can look for the dissolve tool. Maybe. Did I miss it? No. Maybe it's not in here anymore. That's okay. We can search in our geoprocessing tools for dissolve. Okay. And we can use we're just looking at the 2018 land use data. We want to base our dissolve on the field we're displaying, which is land use. If we do the LU category, we might be using the codes. We can actually look that up. The land use codes, which might be helpful because then we'll just leave it for this for now. Let's keep it simple. We're going to leave it to create multi-part features, and we'll go ahead and click Run. So now we're displaying our output, which still is going to have the 72, 73 classes, but if we go to the attribute table, we now only have 73 features. So if we click on Bay or Lagoon, it will highlight all the features that are classed as Bay or Lagoon. So let's find some residentials. Let's do heavy industrial. How much heavy industrial is there? Just not that much. Let's look for some residential. So you can start to see all these are now one feature class, one row on the attribute table. We could take this a step further and classify and simplify this classification even further. So what I've already done in some of these other examples we're going to look at is, let's see, what you can see here, let me open up this attribute table, is I went ahead and created a new field in my attribute table. So let's see. Well, I created a new field, maybe in this one. Yep, a new field in my, I had to do this twice, but created a new field in my attribute table to simplify the fields down further. So I think what happened was I ended up with 2 commercials, so I had to do this a third time, but let's look at this one because I think it'll look better. Yep, so this is the original land use type that we saw on our original file, and I went ahead and added a new field to the attribute table, and then created my own classes based on the categories I felt they fell in, then dissolved, and oh, something. I mustn't have liked the way that dissolved. But anyway, I ran the dissolve tool again using this new class, this land use 2 class here, and ended up with a further simplified attribute table, which only has 8 rows on it. So if I select commercial, all the commercial parcels will pop up. If I select green spaces, all the green spaces will be highlighted. So it just simplifies it even further. So if you don't have a field that you want to base your dissolve on, you can always add a new field and create that field to base the dissolve on.